Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. The Tro Dashboard. Some new features to wind up the year. The price at date, the pivot price, and double wick. And here we have the dashboard showing these. The price at date, you give it a date, and it will show you the price at that date. Let me show you how the inputs work. This is important. You select your indicator column, and you select price at date, right there. The period really doesn't matter because we're using the date. So we're going to be using the daily candle. So you could actually make that current. It doesn't matter. Bar number, we're not going to use the bar number either because we want it at that date. Threshold, we just set it at 0, or I believe if you want to make it within 5 pips or 10 pips, it will then highlight this in magenta or whatever the alert color. Input parameter 3 is applied price. And for those of you who know coding, 0 is the close, 1 is the open, etc. And this is explained in the spreadsheet that I give you. Okay? So if you come down here and you look at price at date right here. Price for the date, applied price. Parameter 3, then month, day, year, and the YY format. So that is the price at date. So if we wanted to, we could change this and we could look at the open price. And you can see here it changes at the open. And there's the open price. Next one is pivot point. I had a lot of pivot point columns in there, and then I was working with it one day, and it's like I didn't have one for the actual pivot point price, so I had to write it. And so here you go. You can see this is the pivot for the daily. Now, if you want to, you can change that. And here's pivot price. You can change this to make it current. So whenever you change the chart, this will change. Or you can make it the weekly or monthly, etc. And the threshold, we could set it if it's within 5 pips. We want it highlighted. So you can see here, there's the highlight. So this is within 5 pips. Of the weekly pivot point. Now, DWZ, that's the double wick zone. What is a double wick zone? Well, the best way is to show you. Let's see the Euro CAD. You can see if you take the previous 2 candles, the price is within the double wick zone of those 2 candles. Let's make the chart nice and wide so you can see here. There's the wick, there's the wick. Let's see, it's all upper. Here's one cross below. Here's one cross above. See, it's above the double wick zone of these candles. Okay, yen cross below. And we're looking at the daily here. Let's see. So you can see here's another double wick zone right there. We crossed above. So how do you use that? Well, if price is in the double wick zone up here, it's like, well, it's like the sellers have pushed it down. So if you break this, that means the buyers are pretty strong if you break a double wick. And if you can look back, you can see like, well, wow, there's like it broke through all the way back there. So it's just telling you. But somebody had asked me about double wicks, and I thought that was a interesting observation, so I loaded that in. And you can see down here, once again, looking at price action, you can see price came down here into the double wick, reversed, and came back up. Some people call them tweezer tops, tweezer bottoms also. So those are the three columns. I hope you guys have really enjoyed the dashboard. This is the last installment for the indicators for this year. Year's almost out, but just so you know, if I ever find a bug in it, I will send you the updated code. And if I happen to figure out something that's I want to add to it, then I will send you that updated code too. No further donations required, just a courtesy. The other thing is, I do have some ideas for writing a new version of the dashboard for 2018. It's going to be a lot of work. There's 111 functions in the dashboard. And that means I'm going to probably have to touch each and every one of them. So if I make a change, I got to change 111 things. And that's one of the things I'm thinking about trying to avoid for the future, is to make the next version so if I want to do a major change, it won't be a major problem. But it's pretty flexible as it is now. But I want to make it, especially from the user standpoint, I want to make it a little more flexible from the coding standpoint. I think there's like 4,000, maybe 5,000 lines of code in there, but it still runs fast. And I'm thinking maybe I can even make it run a little bit faster. But I want to give some more, I think it's some threshold, more user features for the threshold, so you can specify a minimum and a maximum, and also maybe a midpoint threshold, give you at least 3. So that way, if it's above whatever you want to use in the middle, whether it's 0 or 50 or however, you can set those parameters. Because right now I have it set where you can do it for every indicator, but you can't do it for the individual ones. And I think I want to give you that power to do it for the individual ones. And I'm trying to think if there's any, I think there was another one, but right now it escapes me what I wanted to do. But I appreciate all the suggestions you guys have given me throughout the year and the feedback. And I've seen some people using the dashboard and the analyzers in ways that I hadn't even thought of. So if you have some ideas, feel free to, drop me an email or call me, or put a suggestion out in one of the forums, and if I can work it in, I will. But sometimes, especially if it's squiggly line oriented, those kind of go, they get lower priority. But if it's a really good idea, I definitely try to implement it, like the double wick zone. Somebody just mentioned that I think it was last week. I worked on that. So once again, thank you. Your support is much appreciated, and I wish you all a happy new year and a safe new year and a profitable new year. So remember, fellow traders, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. TheRumpledOne, signing off.